The monthly supply of homes are on the rise. What does that mean for you? Let's find out. Don't look now, but bidding wars on homes have hit their lowest levels of the year, and monthly supply of homes is on the rise. Now, we have a special OG guest with us today to help us understand that better, but before I get to him, let me explain these graphs. The month's supply is the ratio of houses for sale to the houses sold. The stat provides an indication of the size of the for sale inventory in relation to the number of houses currently being sold. The month's supply indicates how long the current for sale inventory would last given the current sale rate if no additional new houses were built. It's not as clear cut as you would think, but as you can see, we're headed back towards pre-pandemic levels. As for the bidding wars, in August, we only had 59% of homes in bidding wars. That sounds like a lot, it actually is, but it's actually down from 74% in April. The market is still speeding along, just not at 120 miles per hour. We're now going maybe 90 miles per hour. There we go, show is framed up. Let's pull in my good buddy, industry icon and legend, super handsome man and buddy, Frank Garay. Frank, help us understand all of that. And also, man, welcome back to the show. It's been a while.
Dude, it's good. Thanks for having me, man. So fun to be here, man. I'm always very impressed with your show and what you do, Ryan.
Dude, you guys are the OGs. And for people that don't know the decade-long story and relationship, Frank and Brian gave RC and I one of our first big breaks. And so I've always been so thankful to both you guys. And I'm glad that you're on our show. Here we are, 10 years later.
You know, Ryan, it's no problem. And I'll continue to send the invoice in the mail, but I just, one of these days I'm hoping to get a payment. PayPal's fine, whatever works for you. We're pretty easy going over here.
We are now into Bitcoin, so I'll send some Dogecoin your way, bud.
Some Doge? We'll take some Doge. We'll take some Doge. All right on. So you want to get into this stuff?
Yeah, help us unpack it. And later, man, I know you got something cool you're working on. I think I'm going to jump in there later this week, but we'll get to that in a second. That's more loan officer related.
Sure.
This is realtor related. Unpack both of the bidding wars and that graph, because we tried to explain it in the intro, but it's a little bit confusing. But, super brilliant guy like yourself can unpack it for the simpletons like me.
Yeah. Okay. Super simple guy. Make it simple. That's the way it's going to be. But at the end of the day, what we're seeing is we are seeing the bidding wars kind of taper off a little bit. We're seeing inventory increase a little bit. Now, full disclosure, we got to say this, Ryan. It's different in every area. We all know that, right? California is going to be different than Kansas. It's just the way it is. And actually, these bidding wars that are kind of cooling off, et cetera, are more focused right now in the Midwest, right? But we are going to see it on the edges too. We're going to see it come through on the East Coast and on the West Coast, where it typically stays a little hotter for a little bit longer. But essentially, what's going on is we are seeing inventory rise. We're seeing more houses come on the market. And like you saw with that report, that Redfin report, it's down from 74% of homes that got sold being in a bidding war to 59, that's a pretty good number to, a pretty noticeable dip. So also, we're going to talk about this later, some things that I'm doing where, I'm meeting with, 150 or so loan officers every single day, Monday through Thursday, having conversations, and they are saying, hey, my offers are getting accepted. My buyers are getting accepted more. I'm not going through the bidding wars that I was going through. Again, in a lot of areas. In some areas, you're still going to have that bidding war thing going on. And with respect to the graph that you brought up, it's pretty easy to understand. It's just an indicator. It's right now there's a 6-month supply of inventory. Basically, let's just call it that. We don't have to go any deeper than that. 6-month supply of inventory is just kind of an indicator of how much inventory we have on the market. If it was 3 months, which is what it was, right, not too long ago, it was about 3 months supply. That means we have not very much inventory on the market. It'll get extinguished in 3 months if everything got sold, right? Now we're at a little over 6 months, and typically what we consider to be a normal housing supply is about 6 months. So our inventory has come back, and so that's why we're seeing fewer and fewer bidding wars. And then so we go into the question, Ryan, like why? Why is the inventory coming back? Why are things, changing? And I have yet to see any kind of a survey where they went out and literally asked people, why did you finally decide to sell? Give answers. I haven't seen any survey like that. So a lot of this is speculative, but I believe what it is the pandemic, right, has, it certainly isn't gone. It's still got its issues, especially with Delta flaring up, that type of thing. But overall, we have people returning to work, right, or that type of thing. The hysteria of the pandemic is starting to wear off of a lot of people, right? We're getting used to it, right?
Right.
So what you've got that happening, which is possibly allowing people to think, okay, I'm feeling a little more comfortable about doing something major here. Maybe I'll go ahead and list my home for sale. But what you've also got is the boomers, right? Like me, who are like, hell no, I ain't going nowhere until any of this gets settled. Well, the other thing though is that now they're staring at, holy moly, how much equity have I got in this house now, right? Because equity has gone up so much. Like since Q1, national average, since Q1, homeowners have gotten another $20,000 in equity nationally, right? Average since Q1 of this year. And I think year over year, homeowners' equity, this is the equity, not the value of the home, but their equity has increased 40% year over year. So equity is just going through the roof. A recent report came out saying the average homeowner in the country has $173,000 in equity.
I saw that. Yep.
Right now, right? So, you think about that, you're a boomer, right? Maybe you're kind of in that retirement mode. Maybe you still got a mortgage payment. Now you're staring at all this equity. Maybe you're living in California, go, babe, I think we could go to Tennessee now and just really strike it rich, so I think that's probably what's happening is you're getting, people just calming down over the pandemic. It's kind of waning, right? The hysteria of it all. And you've just got all this newfound equity that's kind of, flipping the switch a little bit to get people to start and list their homes for sale.
It's good. It's healthy. It's okay. I think the media, not media like you and I and Brian, like the actual, the media will go, oh, there's a housing bubble because they want to sensationalize things and they want views and clicks and stuff. But I really don't think that there's a bubble coming. I could be wrong, but this is all healthy what you're talking about. And also, on CNBC this week talked about how builders still need to build 5 million homes. So that leads me, and I'm curious what your thoughts, to believe that it's more of a slowdown, which is a healthy thing, to more of a normalized market than this huge retraction of 20 and 30 and 40% in prices. So I think everybody would feel comfortable, kind of like I opened the show with, 120 miles an hour. I'm starting to get a little antsy, but if we get down to like 75, okay, things are healthy. It's a little bit more normalized. So I think, and I believe that it's going to be that, because there's still a healthy demand. We still have some good supply, and that's a good thing. So I see it more of a normalizing thing. Agree, disagree with that?
100% agree with it. It's going to be more of a normalizing, and there is a demand, but that demand is not going to wane. And from our friend Barry Habib, we've all learned this. Right. It's just there's more people, and there's more families being formed, right? And so with that, there's just a natural demand. And even if we get more listings and more inventory and those homes get sold, well, where are they going to go? Right. Yeah. There's still a demand, right? Like I sell my house, well, I got to buy one. So there's still demand. So we're going to have this, I think we're going to have a good, steady level of demand for a long time. So, but it's like you said, there won't be a bubble. There will be a cooling off. More people are going to feel more comfortable about putting their homes on the market for sale, which we'll see a little bit of a cooling off. We'll still see nice appreciation. That's what I think. On the builder side, and just so you know, full disclosure, I sell real estate now. I'm not trying to set the world on fire. Me and my wife, we help my mom, and if something falls out of the sky, we'll do it. Right. But one of the things that we do is list lots for sale as new construction, right? And with respect to home builders, they got to build a lot of homes, but there's a real problem with it. And when the government gets involved with trying to stimulate things in housing, they always kind of go for the first-time home buyer credit, right? First-time home buyer credit. There's plenty of first-time home buyers. I'm not saying don't give them credit. That's a good thing to have, right? Yeah. But where I really think it could come into play for us, Ryan, is, for example, we just closed on a lot. Actually, today we're closing on the slot. We sold it as proposed new construction, so the buyer is actually going to build a house, right? Ryan, the lot cost nearly $100,000. Okay, The permits and the impact fees. Now, this might not be in every state, but out here in California, they have impact fees along with their permits, right? So you got your lot that's about 100 grand, permits and impact fees about 100 grand. I mean, just to have a new house on the water system, $10,000. Okay, that's the impact. Okay, so you're looking at a couple $100,000 before you even buy a 2x4. And now let's talk about what building costs are. Right. They're through the roof as well. Okay. So to build a home, for a home builder to build a home, to build an affordable home is really, really difficult right now because there's all this other crap, for lack of a better word, that's piled on top of these guys. Then you look at what, probably $250 to $300 a square foot to build a brand new home. You build a 2,000 square foot home. You know what I mean? You're at $600,000 for the house on top of the 200. Now all of a sudden you're at 800,000. This isn't affordable, right? So if the government's going to intervene, and I think they should on the building side, sure, give your first time home buyer 15 grand, but why don't we give builders 20 grand to build a house, and the builder has to credit that toward the sales price of the house? Maybe we could bring them, something like that. I don't know, but the home builders, a lot of pressures on their shoulders to build more houses, but it's just, and they can do it, but are they going to be affordable? Are people going to be able to move into them? That's where I think there's a problem. I don't have a solution for it, but
yeah, Barry talked about that last year too, and unfortunately it didn't gain steam. The three of us all agree, like subsidizing and trying to help that builder push that cost down, maybe even removing some of those fees that you talked about. Somehow we have to make sure that if we're going to help you build a more affordable home, that's got to go towards a first-time home buyer. I don't know if we get into some weird situations with that, but I like the spirit of the idea. I think the things that we called last year are going to continue trend-wise, which we called it the great reshuffling, or the shuffle up and deal, as people move out of states like yours and mine, and they go to like Nashville and Idaho and stuff. I think that trend will continue because there's no more room in Seattle to build. So the pressure has to go out into suburbia. And I think you're still kind of in Vacaville area, and you call it Cowtown, USA. I'm in Puyallup type things, same thing, south of Seattle. So that trend is good. Suburbia continues to get built out because it has to. There's no more land between the mountains and the water in Seattle. So we have to go out into suburbia. I think that's a good thing. I think we'll still see people move out because of the pandemic to areas that they like. Maybe it reflects more of their values. Maybe it's political for whatever reason. Maybe it's new change of pace and scenery. So places like Nashville, Idaho. I was just there. No offense to a Californian because you're from California, but I dropped my boy off there in Boise State, and the guys had trucks that they would drive around, and the locals had a flag that said, "Don't California my Idaho," because so many people were moving in.
We're flocking to Idaho, man. I've had 2 friends move to Idaho.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, good points to everything. And now I read an article. It was in, oh my goodness, I think it might have been American Banker, where they were saying that the whole remote work thing is now, it's just the norm. Like it's becoming more of the norm, which is going to allow people to make these longer moves, out of the area even more.
Yeah, there's a whole nother show about that I've been passionate about too since day one. There's a lot of things that we can pick up. Like you said, being able to go to a place that maybe you wouldn't have been able to because you were tied physically to your job. And we've actually seen efficiencies increase as people work at home and they put more hours in. Those are all great things. Just like anything, there's 2 sides to the coin. And culture is going to be a really big concern when you don't get to see those people, interact with them at the water cooler. You're not doing happy hours. You're not asking them how their family's doing. And so for leaders on both the real estate and mortgage side, that has to be a concern, because it's really easy if all you have to do is change the laptop at home from X mortgage company to Y mortgage company, and that's the pain of changing. That's going to happen, guys. And same on the real estate side. So as leaders, for me, it's top priority to try to keep culture front and center, even though they're working from home. That's a whole nother show, whole nother topic. But I wanted to bring that up because it's something I'm struggling with and something I've been focusing on. And I still have people moving out to different states, and we're still seeing, the ramification of that, good and bad. So Frank, tell me, what you're working on. You mentioned you're meeting with a lot of loan officers daily, quite a few of them, top producers, and you asked me to join you next week, which I think I'm grateful for, but it's like at 4:30 in the morning. So, same thing. But what is this? What is this new project you're working on? Tell me about it.
So recently, I've joined up with Carl White in the Marketing Animals, and Carl, when he brought me on, he said, "Man, Frankie, I got this thing. I really want to do this thing." And he goes, "What time do you get up in the morning?" And I go, "I don't know, 4:30." He goes, "My man." I was like, "What in the world has this guy got in store for me?" Right. And so this is basically what it is. It's called the Loan Officer Breakfast Club, and I just love it, Ryan. I love it. Okay. And it's a Zoom meeting. So everybody's comfortable with that, right? Mm-hmm. It is at 5:30 in the morning to 6 a.m. Pacific time, 8:30 to 9 Eastern. If you're Central Mountain, you figure it out because that stuff changes, right? But yeah, we get on there, and right now, I think we've had, since we launched it, which has only been a couple months, we've got, I think, a little over 1,000 people have registered for it.
Wow.
We average probably about 130 people a day. Not everybody's on every day. So we average about 130 people a day that are on there. And this is a Zoom call with 130 people on it, right? So, wow. All the little squares and all that stuff, you go pages deep, it's all loan originators. And the really cool thing about it is, Ryan, is we really focus on the Marketing Animals, what's called the DSP, it's the Daily Success Plan, which is an amazing plan. If anybody's not familiar with basically what Animals tries to get people to understand, is that you can do a lot more business working a lot less hours. And the way that you do that is by building teams. You have to have the assistants in place to help you with the grind, the daily grind, so that you are free to do the things that you love to do, that you're really good at, that actually make you the money, right? And so their program is so cool because, for the loan officer that's doing 3 or 4 deals a month who can't afford the assistant, right? You've got the daily activities to do to get you to the point where you can afford that first assistant. And then when you get that first assistant, what does that assistant do? That's always a struggle for a lot of originators. I don't know about you, you're a regional director now, so I bet you see this, but when I was managing, 50, 60 guys before the big crash, they would say, "Hey man, I want an assistant." And I go, "Okay, all right, let's get the assistant. I'll pay half, you pay half," right? And what I found is a lot of those guys, their production didn't go up at all.
Right.
No, they wound up watching movies, okay, or something like that. And it's like, well, this isn't working. This just cost us more money. Production didn't go up. So a lot of times originators want an assistant, but they don't really know what the assistant should do. They don't have that laid out, right? So that they really don't get the lift. Yep. I mean, if you've got an assistant, you're being dragged into operations still, like chasing a condition or having a chat with an underwriter, or if you're involved in the operations at all and you have an assistant, that I'm just telling you, it's broken. That's a broken system. It doesn't work. And so at Loan Officer Breakfast Club, we really go through what needs to get done every day. And if you're not doing it, who's doing it? And we really help people, loan officers move up and get to the point where they can actually develop teams so they can do 400 deals a year, 500 deals a year. Like you have somebody who you just hired recently, Lee. He shows up at Breakfast Club. He loves.
Right. You got top per. I didn't even know, we just started talking about it this week as we prep for the show, and I didn't even know. And Lee's been on our show recently, and we interviewed him on how he does 400 to actually 450, I think 450 units a year, how he did that. And it's kind of to your point, like, so it's kind of cool that you got a forum where you can bring in a mega producer and he can share how to actually get lift. Because you're 100% right. I am passionate about scaling teams. I feel like I'm good at it. I've got some teams that we've had success with. But as soon as the trap is, as soon as you get that assistant, we're giving you time back with this LOA 1, we'll call it. And the trap is you go out and golf or watch movies, to your point, more than pouring gas on your business and leveraging what you're good at, which is going out and meeting more people. And so that's the very first conversation I have is, "Oh, you want an assistant? Okay, I'm going to give you back a lot of time. What are you going to do with it?" Because it's not going to be watching movies and it's not going to be golfing more. It's going to be scaling your business. So it's really cool that you got top producers at that Breakfast Club. And I'm excited to join it next Wednesday. I'll be there. I don't know if I can add any value, but I'll be there at least listening in.
Well, really, all I want you to do when you get there is just talk about how awesome I am. So if you could just do that, man, that'll be thumbs up, man. But no, it's an amazing thing. Maybe you could give you guys a link. It's just loanofficerbreakfastclub.com.
Okay, we'll put that link in the comment section below for people that want to jump in there. I feel like you might have to start realtorbreakfast.com because we have a 50% share in that watch our show. So they might want to have the same thing.
Real estate agents, send your LO there, because the whole focus also of marketing animals and the daily success plan is to like over service the realtor, right? Like just really, and not only that, but help the realtor get business. The loan officers in animals and in the Freedom Club, they generate business that they can hand back to their realtor partners, which is a big thing, which doesn't get done very often. So if you're a real estate agent, you should tell your loan officer, hey, go check out that Breakfast Club thing.
Great point. The other resource we'll put below is Frank's graph with the month's supply of inventory. It's kind of cool. You guys can use this to create your own content. I was playing with it earlier. You can shrink it down to like month over month, year over year, 10-year, and all time. And again, for the resource, we're going to put the resource below. Grab it, create your own content with it, like we did today. Frank, thanks for sharing all of that with us, man. I'll see you Wednesday. And I appreciate you coming on the show. You are an icon and a legend, and I appreciate our friendship.
Well, you're one too, my friend. Not as good looking, but you'll get there.
You look good. You look thin.
Yeah. Well, lost a little weight. Thank goodness. The hard way, but we won't get into that.
We won't get into how Frank lost his weight, but you don't want to follow his path.
I super appreciate everything you do, bro. You've just really do such a great job, and I really appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy. I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good one. See you guys next week.